ancient history was wrong? What if beyond the ice wall lies not just a lost civilization, but something never meant to be found? What if the ice wall wasn't a boundary, but a vault? What if it was never meant to keep us out, but to keep something in? For decades, it was dismissed as myth, a frozen edge of the world, too cold, too distant to matter. But now, everything has changed. A team has breached the wall. What they found was not natural, not recent, and certainly not human. Buried deep in the glacial chamber, structures of impossible geometry, crystal monoliths, symbols older than language. It was never abandoned. The moment I saw the pyramid, I knew something was wrong. It wasn't buried, it was waiting. We weren't supposed to find it. Not here, not glowing beneath the ice. I still don't know how it powered on, but when it did, everything changed. We followed the tunnels deeper, past the throne, past the sealed walls. Every step felt intentional, like this place wasn't abandoned, like it was waiting. But for who? The Anunnaki had returned, or maybe they never left. They didn't speak. They didn't look at us. It was as if our presence meant nothing. They moved through the chamber like gods made of time and silence. Were we witnesses, or just echoes in their shadow? What happens when gods forget we exist? But what's worse is when they remember. Deserts, mountains, oceans, but nothing prepared me for what we saw beyond the wall. It was like flying over a memory. It felt familiar, but impossibly wrong. We entered through a narrow passage, every surface carved with symbols none of us could recognize, the ceiling mapped with stars that haven't existed for millions of years. We could feel something watching. We ran a thermal scan. What we saw didn't match what was there. I have studied ruins my entire life, but nothing prepared me for this. The scale, the precision, it defies logic. The structures weren't eroded by time. They were preserved, as if protected from it. The language etched into the walls doesn't resemble anything from human history. We found no tools, no remains, no sign of builders, just monuments, still humming, still warm. And I can't stop wondering, what if these weren't built for us to find, but left behind, because someone knew we eventually would?
Androids!
In the winter of 1937, a military expedition vanished beyond the Antarctic shelf. No final report, no names recorded, only reels of damaged film recovered decades later. The footage shows what they found. A wall of ice stretching beyond the limits of geography, carved not by nature, but by something deliberate. And behind it, what appears to be a structure, an ice citadel etched with faces no historian can place. They made their way through the main passage, boots dragging across frost that hadn't melted in centuries. The first chamber held no furniture, no tools, only a black pedestal humming quietly as if waiting to be used. Further in, the rooms grew stranger, ceiling carvings that matched no known language, walls etched with symbols that glowed faintly under lantern light. And then they entered what the documents call the Celestial Room, a dome of perfect symmetry, star maps etched in mirrored eyes, spanning constellations we have yet to name. They weren't just charting the sky, they were marking something, a path, a warning, a return. And now, after nearly a century, we have to ask, were they the first to find it, or simply the last to disappear?
Thank you for coming out to HSE-TV Entertainment. Holy Ghost Power, Christ Tip in a short clip. Let you know, Job 38, chapter 38, verse 30 to 35. Starting to reveal itself. Braka!